Good evening. I think we've got over the issues over the weekend. Another match is here. We can rest easy. That was just all in the past, wasn't it? I'm Charlie. I'm your host. I'm really grateful. I'm thankful for you to join us today. We're going to talk about Liverpool. It's the semi-final. It's a big game. It's the first leg away to Tottenham in the EFL Cup, and it's another trophy that's within our grasp. And Brandon and I are going to talk about it. We may get some other guests, that come onto the show. So if they do, they'll come on. If not, then no worries. Just get me and Brandon just talking, just chatting. We've had a bit of a chat already before the stream went on. Um, yeah, it was a bit of a bait, Thomas, to try to get you to watch. And yeah, we're already on track. If we think about it, Brandon, come on, like, you know, the furore, the fume, the head loss from over the weekend. Um, you know, Liverpool top of the league, home and abroad. Liverpool are in the semi-final of a cup already, and things are going great. One little draw to Manchester United, who played well. Let's give it to them. I'm not gonna throw out insults. They played to their advantage and had a game plan. They were really strong. So power to them. We've got bigger fish to fry, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those like you're frustrated more with the performance than the result. Like that was the big issue for me over the weekend was just Manchester United showed up to play a rivalry game. We seemed like we showed up to play a summertime friendly. Until they
Yeah.
scored, it didn't we were ever in the game. Like didn't feel like we were really at it. I think in the first half we didn't win a tackle, which is just unacceptable for a game like
Mm.
this. Um, but like I said, we're still top of the league. I said it's like we have room, obviously, to maneuver where we can drop a stinker like this and still be just fine because Arsenal has no room for error. Chelsea has no room for error. Forest has no room for error. Like obviously Man City's not even in the conversation anymore. So it's like we can have these results and still be fine. It's always frustrating when it's Manchester United you drop that type of performance against.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue, isn't it? It was just the performance against United rather than the the importance of the result and the point gained. Regardless of whatever it means, 6 points still ahead against the next team with a game in hand. There's still so much more. There's so much positivity to look at in this game, and I'm really happy that Reese has joined us today. How you doing, Reese?
I'm not too bad, boys. How you not doing? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's
sorry,
you're a
sorry for
little bit
the
quiet on your side, mate.
sorry.
I don't know if there's anything you can try to sort out, but
Can you
yeah,
hear me? Can you hear me now?
yeah, kind of. Hopefully it's okay. I don't know. Can you hear me all right?
No, I can hear all of you lot loud and clear. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. We'll persevere and hopefully that it kind of sorts itself out. So yeah, Reese. Sorry, mate. I just had to cut you off then. But yeah, how are you? You okay?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain. I'm good. Yeah.
And you've gotten over the weekend, or was it just brush it
Mm,
off? It's just one of them things. We just get on to the next game, right?
I'm more or less over it. Still a little annoyed. It's just frustrating because we should have kind of expected that Man United are gonna, even though obviously if you look at both teams, we're levels above them in terms of that kind of game. Form kind of goes out the window. I just think we should have kind of expected that they were gonna try and be more up for the game. I just think, and obviously there's certain things obviously maybe could have done a bit differently, but like I said, at least we didn't lose. But yeah, we for me we just definitely got to learn from the situation and not allow it to derail the rest of the season.
Yeah, yeah, and it's quite ironic that the next two games, Brandon, are cup games, and very much the game that happened on the weekend. And it's one of those things, the Merseyside derby form goes out the rule book. You can throw that out, and then when it comes to the Manchester games, even Man City as well, you could consider one-off games. It doesn't really make a difference about who's good going into the game. Any team's going to be up for it, and I think it's quite ironic that we've just come on the back of what you could consider a cup game because it's just a one-off top competition with Manchester United, and we go into another one with Tottenham.
Yeah, like I'm not even sure what to say there. Yeah, going
Well,
into
no, I mean, so the question is, sorry, mate. Yeah, sorry. The question is from, I guess, from a Spurs and United perspective, they have struggled very, very much in the league, haven't they? Both teams are really, really struggling in the league, and I guess the point is they can find solace in a cup competition. They're very, very much cup type teams where on a one-off occasion, and we saw it last season with United, where they beat us in the FA Cup. For that one occasion, they can be really, really up for it. And I think it's quite dangerous for us to maybe think about going into the semi-final first leg against Tottenham, where we beat them just a few weeks ago, 6-3 or whatever it was, and think it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, that's what you're kind of getting at. Like, with Spurs, obviously, this is their semifinal. Spurs has, I mean, it's the joke of England. Really, is Spurs are never going to win a trophy. It's like here's one of their better opportunities. A semifinal. They play very offensive football. Like it's in cup games. If you can nick a goal, play a little bit defense, though that's their big issue is playing defense. You never know what can happen. Form does kind of go out the window for cup games. You see all the upsets in the FA Cup we'll see at the weekend, like lower league teams knocking off a big boy will hopefully happen. Like it's the form kind of goes out here, and for Spurs, they're going to be up for it, thinking that just because we absolutely battered them 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, putting 6 goals past them, that's nothing to think about. It's a completely different game, completely different intensity that's required, completely different tactical kind of nuance it needs for cup games compared to like league games.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I think, Reece, this is probably a perfect tonic for us coming off the result, off the performance, let's say, not the result, but the performance that we had over the weekend. This is that type of game that we want to go into away from Anfield, because I didn't think it was actually quite good over the weekend with the ferocity towards particular players in our own team. It's something I don't think I would like to have ever seen in a Liverpool crowd, where they're kind of just going and going at Trent and other players and whatnot. But this is that perfect tonic to reset as such and get ourselves back on track. I know I've already kind of said that we're top of the leagues, home and abroad, we're in the semi-final, but it is something just to get our focus back, right?
No, 100%. I think so. I think the way Tottenham plays quite open. Obviously, I wouldn't underestimate them only because they might want to perform a lot better than they did against us the last time. But I think when you always have a result that doesn't go your way, the thing you kind of want is you want a game as quick as possible to try and put things right and improve the performance. So yeah, I think this is kind of the perfect game, and I'm quite confident. I think that we're going to win this game.
Do you think we'll have another 6-3 on our hands, or is it going to be something different?
I don't think it's going to be as many goals. I don't think.
Yeah.
Think so. Because I still think we're going to play a strong team, but I still would like us to change, if possibly, if we could put in 1 or 2 players. And I'm going to be interested to see if I think Trent's going to play. If it was me, I would take Trent out for this game, put Bradley in.
Yeah.
I would like to see Elliot as well. I'd like to see a couple other people play, but like I said, I could be wrong. I still think I have a feeling that slot's going to go quite strong because we have the FA Cup game on the weekend. So
Yeah. Well, while you're, I'm just going to speak to Brandon. There is still a little bit of lack of sound coming from your side, Reece. If there's anything you can do just to sort out the microphone, that'd be great. But Brandon, let's kind of stick with you while you're looking at that. Let me just. Sorry, just getting a message from the guys. Check that out firstly. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So Brandon, let's kind of think about the team itself. With the game coming up against Accrington Stanley on the weekend at the cup game, who's going to be your goalkeeper? Is it fair to say that Kelleher should be the domestic goalkeeper
Yeah, I believe.
for the cup games?
Yeah, I think so. He's earned the right. It's not like he was in bad form or anything like that, or was costing us much of anything at the back when he was playing. So there's no reason to not reward him and continue like his run to Carabao Cup. I mean, he's won one for us before, so we're not having a huge drop off. It's not playing a completely unproven goalkeeper. It's putting somebody in there who's got a lot of experience in cup games, being a cup keeper. Obviously, we don't have to worry about penalties right now, but I mean, he's right now on fire saving penalties. So I mean, he's perfect for the cup games. There's no reason to not be playing Kelleher in the goal for me. Give Ali a rest.
no, I agree. I agree. I really would like to. Also, he's just dropped off. I think he's just going to try to sort out his sound. Let me just change this. Here we go. Because he's brand new now. It's a bit of a technical. Hey, Reese. Hopefully you can hear us now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So Reese, what we were just talking about. Who would your goalkeeper be for tomorrow's game?
I would pick Ali. I would pick Ali.
Yeah. Is there any reason why you would go with Ali? Does he seem? Did you see something that concerned you over the weekend? You know, that second goal, or just keep him in the game to get him back up to speed because he's been out for so long.
More just keep getting back up to speed. Also because it's a semi-final, but I also think that Keller is probably going to play on the weekend due to the FA Cup team that we're playing. So yeah, I don't see him where he plays Allison on the weekend and he'll play Keller tomorrow. I just think he's going to go stronger because of the magnitude of the game, and then to keep Ali getting more up to speed because he's just come back from injury.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. I think it's a difficult one. I can definitely see both arguments. To seeing who would be your goalkeeper, but people in the comments, just drop in who you would like to see in goal tomorrow, and also for Saturday. I'm assuming that we would probably go for Kelleher on the weekend, but tomorrow's a big game. We need to probably think about going with the strongest team possible. But the question comes in, Reese, I'm going to stick with you about this one for the next one, and then we'll come to Brandon with the same question. Who's going to be your right back?
For me, I'd pick Bradley.
Yeah.
It's not even because I know Trent had a terrible game, but it's more I just think obviously alluding to that game, he should have kind of got taken off because he looked like his confidence he looked like all his kind of body language was kind of saying that he wanted to come off. I still think Slot's going to pick him, but for me, I'll just put Bradley in just because I think where his mind's at, I think he's in a much better space than where Trent is right now. And then maybe the weekend might be a game where you can ease kind of Trent back in potentially, but yeah. I just think mindset-wise, and because it's the semi-final as well, I don't think Trent's in the right headspace.
Yeah, it's been a few years since we've had this type of conversation with Trent, Brandon. The reason why I say that is, ironically, it was against United. The last time I was thinking that he had a pretty poor game when Rashford suddenly decided that he wanted to be a footballer, and then he's gone missing for about 3 years. But on both occasions, I've probably seen that it's not a physical issue with Trent. It is more he's in his own headspace, just like what Reese was saying. He gets inside his own head, and because of that, there's something about whether we want to talk about effort levels or the desire maybe goes. But is this one of those opportunities where we just throw him back into the fire and get him playing again, or is it a case of just let him stick it out, put him on the bench, and if we're doing well, get him on for the last 20 minutes or something?
It's mostly just tricky because Bradley's obviously just coming back from an injury, so it's like either do we throw Bradley in for 60, 70 minutes, and how does it affect him moving forward? That's only my question at right back. Yeah, with Trent, the effort on Sunday, we don't really have to talk much about it because that's about how much effort he put in on Sunday was the words I just said. Like, not very much. It was poor, but I think the Bradley injury is the only thing holding me up from saying Bradley starting. Just like the fact he's coming back from it. I still think you should go Bradley because I think he's your starter next week against Forest. I think that's where I'd go for Forest. I think Trent could be at the weekend. Maybe you can give him the captain's armband just to, prove it if you want to be the captain and all these other things that are rumored too. It's like, hey, you can be the captain of the kids on this weekend, and pull out a performance. Maybe that's what you can do for him, but I don't know. I want to go Bradley, but the injury is the only thing holding me back for say sure that he should start tomorrow. I still think that's who I would go with though, is Bradley.
Yeah, no, it's I don't say it's a rubbish kind of decision that Slot needs to make, but it's one of those where you need to consider what is the best for the player, and I think that's what happened. Reece over the weekend with Trent. Now, any other player, if let's say, I've probably seen it with Robbo. If Robbo was having that type of game, an absolute stinker, Slot probably would have taken them off a little bit earlier. However, what we probably saw with Trent was you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't scenario. So if he took him off, that would have potentially caused more harm potentially to the player rather than the team. Whereas what actually happened was there's more harm to the team than the player. So it's that fine margin. I mean, what would you have done on the weekend? Take him out from 60 minutes?
I would have took him off at half time, to be fair.
Yeah.
If he does allow him to come in out, you give him 15 minutes. But I just think the fact that Bradley was on the bench, and if you look at some of the other decisions of Slot, he rushed Konate right back in when Konate, you could see Konate wasn't. He didn't look like he was fit. So that tells me you don't trust Kwanzaa. But with Bradley, he waited till the 85th minute. I understand it a little bit, but for me, no player is bigger than the team. And with me, Trent's my favorite player, so you've got to bear in mind as well. But yeah, I could be emotional and be like, yeah, keep him on. But for me, if you're not having a good game, you got to come off. I would have took Jones off as well because Jones didn't really have a good game. I was quite surprised because that's probably, in terms of subs, that's the first time he's probably got it wrong. A lot of the time, usually gets it kind of spot on. Whereas I think maybe, for all we know, obviously he's quite cool, calm, calculated person. Maybe the occasion got to him a little bit. I don't think he expected Man United to come at us like that because obviously we dealt with him earlier on in the season. But obviously, the great thing about Slot is when he does make a mistake, he learns from that mistake. He seems like he's quite obsessive and looks at where it went wrong. So I'm confident that he'll rectify it. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed and surprised with some of the decisions.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I thought the same. I didn't think Jones. The thing with Jones, since becoming a dad, he basically became Perlo. But what we saw on the weekend was that the old Jones, where he just held on to the ball a little bit too long.
Yeah, not
and it
knowing
allowed. And it allows players like Manu, and he allows players like Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes, who are really tenacious, really good players. You've got to remember. I know they're the butt of a lot of jokes, but he just held on to the ball a little bit long. I thought that the thing that we tried to develop over the last kind of 18 months with Jones was you play the right ball the right time. And if it's not the right ball to go forward, you go back. And that's what we try to get, like the mantras being, we will be patient. What happened was we tried to push it, and he held onto the ball, trying to be possibly a little bit too arrogant with the ball. Who knows? But it's one of those things.
Can I say though, Charlie? I know a lot of our fans may not agree. They might be split. I think we did miss Szoboszlai in that game. I think
100%. I'm with you, mate. I'm with
his legs and his physicality in that game. And I still thought how I saw it as we got enough to beat United regardless. But when I saw he wasn't playing, I was a little wary because I just thought that physical battle midfield, that means a lot of it's going to be on Gravenberch. Even though McAllister had a great game considering.
Yeah,
I do think we missed Szoboszlai's legs massively.
100%. So I think I don't know. I haven't validated this stat that I saw, but if it's true, then it kind of speaks volumes. Of the games that we've dropped points this season, I think it's 5 games that we've dropped points.
Okay.
Szoboszlai hasn't played in 3 of them, or started in 3 of those matches. So that tells you the impact. Maybe he didn't start the season as well, but you've seen that the legs that he has makes a massive, massive difference to
100%.
to the way that the team play. Lucho struggled. Is that a case because Soboslai was behind him? Sorry, wasn't behind him to allow the runner. We normally play with a front four at times when
Yeah.
Soboslai plays. Again, Jones isn't that type of 10-player second striker. He's more of a double pivot player. So yeah, I totally agree. Maybe it was a case that Elliot should have come on earlier. Who knows?
Yeah,
Or
maybe Elliot. Yeah, because I think physically he offers. Even though I know he's not the biggest, he's quite physical and tenacious as well. Elliot, he kind of likes to get stuck in, whereas even with Jones, like I said, he's been really good this season. And like what you said, ever since he's become a father, he just seems like he's found his feet kind of more. So I'm not gonna write him off. I just think he's had a bad game. It was just disappointing because when I was watching it for large parts, I was wondering, is Jones even on the pitch because he was that ineffective. But yeah, like I said,
yeah,
we just got to wait and see. I do think we'll bounce back. And I said, in the past, those type of games we would usually lose. So the fact we were able to get a draw, I know we was in front, but in the past we probably would have lost that kind of game. Where we was able to take a point and we didn't play that great. So I think we just got to take that point, move on, try and take the positives, and learn from the negatives.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you just said, 100% agree. So yeah, we've got a little bit sidetracked. So it's a bit of a split when it comes to the right back position. Again, it's the similar kind of situation with the goalkeeper. You can make arguments for both, where either one of those players from playing. Who knows? The centre backs is another dilemma. Reese, I'm not too sure if Brandon's still there, but
I think
I'm gonna.
Cameron, just not.
Brandon, yeah, we
It's
can't
been black
see.
Brandon for like 5 minutes.
Sorry. Yeah, your camera's gone. I don't know if you want to just drop off and then try to come back on. The good old reboot might work.
Yeah, give me a second.
Sound okay. Reese, yeah. So centre backs is another one where it could, with the way that Ibu, I'm so glad that Kanate's back. I really, really am, considering that we lost Gomez, who was playing really, really well. At that point, who would be your two centre backs?
I know everyone's gonna go with Ibu. I'm gonna go with Kwanzaa because I just don't think Konate is fit. So I don't want to play him and then he could get injured. Because in that United game, it was very risky. When we look at, because Trent didn't have such a great game, he was kind of covering right back and centre back, and then with the knee brace as well. We're kind of lucky he didn't get injured because you could even see he wasn't his full self, Konate, as well, because usually he throws himself into where he wasn't, which tells you he knows he wasn't fully fit. I know Slot's he's probably gonna pick Konate, but I would pick Kwanzaa if Kwanzaa obviously lets the occasion get to him, who doesn't really have a good game, then bring Konate on. But I think Kwanzaa should be able to see out this game. I think he would have been able to see out the United game. That's what I'd go with for me.
Yeah, he looked absolutely gassed towards the end of the game, Konate. So again, it's probably a really good opportunity for him to get minutes in his legs. But Brandon, I can see you. It's good to see you again, mate. Centre backs. So we're down to kind of the three: Virgil, Kwanzaa, and Konate. Who are your two players that you're going to start with coming the weekend?
I'm kind of agreeing with Reese here. I want to start Kwanzaa, with Virgil on the side. Like Konate, we can't be overrunning Konate. Not at this moment. Gotta, even if he doesn't trust Kwanzaa, he's gonna have to learn to trust Kwanzaa because that's the option right now. Because Konate is not ready to be playing 90 minutes, 3-4 days apart. He's not ready for it. I don't even think he should be seen at the weekend. I think getting ready for Forest. We want to go Kwanzaa. Slots just gonna have to trust him, or they're gonna have to do some business, and that business is not gonna get done by tomorrow. So it's trust Kwanzaa. That's the option here. So
really, where is Richard Hughes? Where is he?
That's Kwanzaa's the choice here for me. I don't think I don't want to see Konate on the pitch unless just absolutely needs to be, and I'd be sick to my stomach if he absolutely needs to be playing this game, because that means we really have two center back options at that point. Because if you can't trust Kwanzaa for this game, I mean, I guess you see him at the weekend, but I'd be worried about Konate moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. I really would love to give Virgil a rest at some point this week. It's most likely going to be the FA Cup match, which is fine. But tomorrow is a semi-final. It is a cup competition to win. So yeah, it's I guess Slot could just see it as he has a conversation with Konate, and again, kind of similar to what we probably already said in regards to Trent. Throw him into the fire, give an hour, see how it goes, and then if it allows, then we can sub. So we've already got marks on the back four, apart from your left back. Brandon, who will your left back be in this occasion as well?
I would say Robbo. Though Robbo, I think, also needs a rest or needs maybe minutes from the bench, because I think Robbo at this point in his career is better for Liverpool when we're either down a goal or later in the game when we need a goal. Like going forward, he still has that effort. He still has the ball in. Like he still can deliver good, like attacking ball. He still does all that stuff well. It's just been the defensive woes have been kind of compounding lately. And we need a starting left back maybe in the summer, like one to replace Robbo in the starting lineup. Robbo can then become Simicast. I think Robbo starts tomorrow, Simicast to the weekend, but that would be my theory. Or we can flip that and have Robbo be the leader on the weekend, because I also feel with the semifinal, you want your leadership on the field, and Robbo is one of the better leaders in the squad.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's an interesting one. Reece, what do you think about left back?
I'm going with Simicast for me. I think Robbo needs a rest. I understand where Brent's coming from. I do think Slot's probably going to go with Robinson, but I do think he's looked really leggy, and I know Simicast has probably been back in the squad for a few games now. He just hasn't really featured. I think if you do play Robbo, I think you give him maybe 45 minutes, 60 minutes, then bring Simicast on. But I would go over Simicast and then give Robinson that break ideally, because as we've seen this season, even though his last couple of games at times he's done well, there always seems to be a mistake there, and he just looks more leggy. I don't think he can play week after week, game after game as he used to.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I would like to see more of Simicast over the next few weeks. One, to just give Robbo a rest. Two, to just see how good Simicast actually can be. I think he's a fine player. It's just whether he's consistent enough to be able to play in this team for a prolonged period. That's what I would love to be able to see. But yeah, there's question marks all over the defense. So we're just going to move on to onto our midfield. Again, lots of questions as to who you'd like to see. Instead of just going by individual player, because we work as a small team, that triangular trio there. Reese, who would your midfield three be?
Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna change it up, to be fair. What were you gonna say, Charlie? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, what are you thinking? Endo's,
I'm gonna play Endo. For me, I think I would play Endo. For me, if you can't play Endo in this game, when are you gonna play him? For me, I think he needs to be getting a bit more game time than he is actually getting.
Yeah.
I think he's
and I guess it's one of those. Yeah.
I think he's such a useful player, underrated. I know he's not somebody pulls up trees, but I think he's that kind of player you need in your squad to see out games, to play in certain games. He always gives 100%. I would play him. I would play Morton as well. Malamore, and the last one in the 10, I think I would play Elliot. I would change the whole team, because I think Gravenberch needs a rest. I think how great he's been this season, even the United game, quite good. There was times where he was a couple things with his running back was a little bit lazy, but I think that's because he just looks tired. And I think if we're not careful there, you don't want to get an injury or something there, because then that messes up the whole team. I think he definitely needs a break. Jones, I think you could put on as well. And I would like to see Elliot get some more minutes because I've been a bit disappointed since he's come back from injury. He hasn't really had a look in. He's had little small cameos here and there, and I think he's got so much talent, especially from the pre-season, which was, I know, from that quite away from last. That was probably last year now, but I just think he's a really talented player, and I think we should be trying to use more of Elliot, trying to get him up to speed.
I'm going to put a question out there, Reese, just for you, and then Brandon, have a think about your midfield three. I'm going to ask you the same question straight after. Do you think, similar to Kwanzaa, similar to Endo, do you think Slot trusts a player like Elliot for whatever reason?
I don't know because like I said, in the pre-season, he used him quite a lot. And when you looked at when he used him in the 10, he looked great. Obviously,
Really, really good.
He picked up an injury, which is what happens in football. These things happen. It's unfortunate. At the minute, it's hard to tell. Maybe he might not. Then at the same time, I just don't think he likes to change it too much. He has said previously that he likes his particular 11. So I think it's more of a case of, I think, whoever's on the outside looking in, they kind of got to bide their time. And when you get opportunity, hopefully, whether it's either tomorrow if he gets some minutes, a cameo, or definitely the weekend, he's got to take that for me. But I'm a bit.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause the match talk, the match preview talk. I'm going to bring up this bizarre story that's come out today. Reese and Brandon, what an absolute bizarre story! We can spend a few minutes just talking about the lunacy. I think lunacy anyway for someone like Elon Musk buying Liverpool. Brandon, I'm going to come to you first with this one, and then I'll get your thoughts, Reese. But Elon Musk, really? Would you be happy with Elon Musk being the owner of Liverpool, considering his affiliation with certain wings of politics?
Right. That's what I was about to say. I'm not even happy with him being involved in my politics. I don't want him anywhere near my football club. I actually love my football club. I don't care about my politics here. So I don't want him anywhere near my football club. I understand he's got a lot of money, but I think as somebody put in the chat, I think it was Derek there, like, yeah, he'll change the name from Liverpool to X or X-Pool or something like that because he loves the name. He tried to name Bitcoin all those years ago, and then he finally named Twitter that. That's what he would want to change it to. It wouldn't be good. He doesn't understand people, and Liverpool's a club where you kind of have to understand the people. So I mean, I think there's rumors he doesn't like the color yellow. So I mean, we couldn't use yellow in the kit. We couldn't use yellow anywhere. So flames are out there. That's a rumor that they have so many accidents at Teslas because he doesn't like the color yellow. So there's no caution signs anywhere. That's a rumor. That's not true. Don't sue me. But I have no interest in the guy. I don't care how rich people are. I'd want to have a club that at least understands the people. I know FSG definitely has their issues, but they usually do back down to the people. Elon, like I said, doesn't care about people, so he wouldn't care what you want. He will do what he wants to do, and you just have to accept it because he's just going to do what he wants to do. And he'll probably change all the robots, and I'm not interested in that either. So.
Yeah. Reese, what are your thoughts about Elon Musk?
I just think that's a rumor. I just think it's lazy journalism. It's just another distraction. I think it's more kind of been put out there to be laughed at. It's more like that's highly unlikely that's going to happen. Obviously, he's got a load of money. But yeah, I would rather someone ideally that understands Liverpool, that understands the fans, that actually cares about the club. Obviously, FSG, there's a lot of things they don't do right, but there are some things they do right. Like I said, at times they do backpedal even when it does take them a bit longer. Whereas similar to what Brandon said, I don't think Elon Musk would at all. I think he kind of makes a lot of decisions sometimes randomly without thinking. So, and with a football club, I don't think you can do that. So say if it was like change the name or decide that I want to sell this one just randomly because I have a funny feeling about it. We can't have someone running a football club who don't really care about the club like that. It's more just the investment. And yeah, me personally, I just see it's more of a comical tweet. It's just a distraction for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when his old man went on some type of interview and spoke about it. I'm like, oh, it's just bizarre that his dad has come out and just said it.
They said something about they got family in Liverpool or something. They've got some relatives.
Yeah, so supposedly, yeah, he's got family in Liverpool. He
That's
spent
that
time with the Beatles.
Yeah.
He should have bought Everton.
Yeah.
That'd have been much better for him and all of us as well. I think that'd have been great if he would have bought Everton and got bored in a couple of years and completely destroyed it.
Yeah, the less said the better. I think it's a non-story. Just it's a bizarre one where he's probably just throwing his name out, or someone's mentioned. Obviously, his dad's mentioned his name just to get his foothold in Western politics. But this is a conversation for another show on a different podcast. I'm sure that you can find somewhere wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm sure there'll be something about this. But yeah, just coming back to the football, guys. So yeah, midfield three. So we got yours, didn't we, Reese? But Brandon, your midfield three. And I guess the question I was asking before. Yeah, sorry. The question I was asking before the Musk conversation was: do you think Slot trusts Elliot?
I'll start with the Elliot one. I'm kind of baffled he hasn't got more of a look because he is so talented. And it's not like he's a player you ever question the effort of either. Like he loves playing for Liverpool. He loves scoring for Liverpool. He loves everything about Liverpool, the way he presents himself. So I don't think effort's ever the question. I can't figure it out. It might just be the injury just came at that's just the worst injury at the worst time because he was getting good look in the preseason, gets hurt. We come out playing so well. You don't really want to change too much when you're playing so well. And it's just, what's required there. Obviously, Soboslai offers like more athleticism, probably a little bit more nuance in terms of like the actual how we're trying to play, pressing with four, pushing with four, changing our shape every single time Soboslai does something different. That maybe LA can't quite do that athletically, but at the same time, he's so talented. It has to be. You just don't want to change when things are great. Like that's the only thing I could think of because I can't see a reason why you can't trust him because he offers you something a little bit different than everybody as well. I mean, he's always willing to take a man on, always willing to take a shot on. Maybe that's part of it. That Slot just wants tap-ins and stuff like that, or something, or he doesn't want somebody outside the box. But yeah, I think Elliott offers such a talent that I don't see where he shouldn't trust him. I feel like he needs more of a chance, but I think it might just come down to he just got hurt at the worst time, and it just everything we're starting becoming more of started having a surprise title challenge, and it just kind of it's falling that way this year. But my midfield three, I'm agreeing with Reese when it comes to Endo. I think this is a great game for Endo. Like I talked about leadership when I was talking about Rabo. Obviously, Endo's got leadership. This is a great game for him to get in. It's a different style of game. Like obviously being a semi-final cup tie, you're gonna have to put your foot in. You're gonna have to get some good tackles. Spring counterattacks. Endo does that stuff well. He breaks up play excellently. He gets his foot on the ball, and when you really don't expect him to, he just has that great natural talent of just finding ways to win the ball. I think this is a perfect game for him. I'm not sure how fit Soboslai is. I know he's sick.
I think he's still sick. Yeah, he won't be playing tomorrow.
I was wondering, like, this might still be a game where you can kind of experiment a little bit. And I was thinking if Soboslai was back, maybe you can put him on the other side of that double pivot and play Elliott at the 10. But if he's still not ready to go, I'd say Jones there on the right side. Grab obviously needs a break. I think we could see that over the weekend that Grab needs, doesn't need to play every single game. I don't think he was bad enough to be called out in a press conference afterwards for not playing well. I thought he played fairly well in the first half. It seemed a little leggy overall, but just not as good as he usually was. I think somebody in the chat said, when you drop 10 out of 10 every week, 7 out of 10 looks horrible. So it's kind of what Grab was over the weekend. Just, give him a day off. He doesn't need to be every game. And same thing kind of with McAllister, kind of start gearing towards focusing a little bit on the league. We have a big run of games coming up away from home against a lot of tough competition. So it's like this is a time to kind of start using the squad we do have. And I think Endo, Jones, Elliott is who I'd go with in the midfield three.
Yeah, all kind of interesting. My preference would be I would like to see Endo play as the 6 would like to see Gravenberch play a little bit further when he can be that number 8 box to box, and I would like to see McAllister play a little bit further forward. It may not offer the same energy levels as Soboslai or McAllister, but maybe there's an opportunity there just to try it out, see how it goes, add in a little bit more control in that midfield for 60 minutes, and then see how we get on. There's an opportunity there, so there's that. The front three, Brandon, I'm going to stick with you on this one. Considering we need to rest players, the fact that we are playing the semi-final first rather than the FA Cup first, who would your front three be for this game?
I'd go Mo on the right. Like, I obviously you want to win the first game of the semifinal. So, I mean, you do have to go with your most lethal player in this game, and that's Mo. When I was talking about experimenting, I was also thinking about maybe playing Jota up top and playing Darwin on the left. Like, giving both Louis and Gakpo a little time off. Gakpo's been playing outstandingly lately, so you probably do see him on the left because he's scoring every single game, it feels like. But I'd almost want to see, we've seen Darwin play on the left when he's at Benfica, and he was outstanding. We've kind of been calling out for maybe moving him out of the striker role, kind of moving him around, see if that can trigger something for him. I think this might be a game where you can try that out, or you can try it at the weekend. But I think putting Diogo up top, getting Darwin on the left would be an interesting take. But I think it would be Diogo, Mo, and Cody on the left.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to see Jota get more games. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one there. But Reece, what would you be your front three in this respect?
I would have Jota through the middle, and then I would have Gakpo on the left and Salah on the right. I was tempted to keep it the same with Diaz through the middle, but I think Diaz needs the rest. Potentially even Gakpo needs a rest, but I would keep him on the left for now. And depending how the game goes, maybe Darwin could come on for him on the left side. But I definitely want to see Jota kind of start the game. I think we kind of need missing that potent, that kind of killing thing that he kind of provides. I just hope, like I said, he's able to start the game and doesn't pick up any injuries. But Salah definitely has to stay on the right for me.
I agree. So I agree with your front three. So Salah, Jota. I would love to see Gakpo keep on playing, and come the weekend, I want to see Chiesa start for sure, because I'm desperate for the guy. I even got on the weekend. I don't know if you can see this, but I got the Italian Euro '96 shirt with Chiesa on the back with his old man. So I'm desperate to wear that on the weekend and support Chiesa. So yeah, I really want to see him play and make inroads into his Liverpool career, because I think we've got a really good player at that point as well. So yeah, that's the kind of predicted lineup. We'll get. So I wanted to talk about Spurs themselves and the importance of a result that they are desperate to get, because I'm just looking at their matches that they've had. They lost 4-3. They lost 4-3 against Chelsea. 8th of December, they drew against Rangers. They beat Southampton 5-0, but this is Southampton. They then beat United 4-3 in the quarterfinal of the EFL Cup, but then got smashed by us 6-3. Lost against Forest 1-0, drew against Wolves 2-2, and then lost against Newcastle 2-1. So all in all, they are struggling for a result. They're desperate to get something out of this season. The league is way beyond them. Whether they get into Europe is probably gone. So Reece, just thinking about that, are they a wounded animal like United? When we spoke at the start of tonight's stream, do we need to tread carefully and take them really seriously?
I think we do. I think they're going to be really up for this game. The fact it's at their ground as well. It's a semi-final. This is probably their best chance for a trophy, if we have to be honest. For me, and then I also think they're under pressure. Ange is under pressure, and so is the team to get a result. The only thing is, I still think we'll win because I just think Ange is naive with his tactics. Even though, don't get me wrong, he's got a great philosophy in terms of he wants to play football. His in-game management and not trying to tweak certain things with them, leave them too open for me, which is why I think it just plays into our hands. But I definitely think they're going to be up for the game, and if we just assume that we're just going to win, I think it's going to be a much more difficult game than it needs to be for us. So I think our mentality will be right going into this game. I think we got to start fast, and I think if we start fast and kind of put the game to bed first half, then you can kind of make some changes and take some guys off and kind of look towards the weekend. But I just think we got to be at the races straight away from the first whistle.
And it's really interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that, Reese. It's really, for whatever reason, away from home, we're really, really good. We've got, I think we're the best in the league for away matches. Now, the way I see it is we impose ourselves certainly on in an away match, probably because teams that we're playing are a little bit more susceptible because they have to come forward, they have to come out of their own shell to try to win the game because they're at home. But when it comes to home matches, Fulham, we struggled. We obviously struggled against United, Nottingham Forest. What is it about our home form which is totally different to our away form? And I think the key thing that you just mentioned there is about being quick. Is there just a lack of energy when it comes to home matches, certainly in the first half, that you can see?
Yeah, I think there's more complacency because we're at home as well. But I do think some of the last couple of games in particular have been, say with someone like a Trent as well, is I think the fans, whereas been saying certain things and then kind of getting in his head, they could be even saying things with other players. But I just think there's maybe less pressure away from home. You kind of got, there's always going to be pressure because you're playing for Liverpool and the expectation, but I just think you kind of feel it more when you're at home, I think, because it's kind of, you are expected to win every game at home. So yeah, I just think it's less pressure for some players, I think. So maybe the players could relax a bit more compared to when it's at home. But
Yeah. Do you see that, Brandon? Have you noticed that the intensity isn't quite there when it comes to playing at home compared to away matches? Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's kind of maybe a little bit of the hangover from like Klopp days, is like because Klopp obviously made like home matches and just Anfield like a very emotional place to play. So you just kind of fed into everything. Obviously, Slot's not the same type of manager, and good and bad parts of that as well. But I think that's kind of part of it, is that he's very pragmatic in how he approaches things. So maybe that's what the players, they don't feed off the crowd as much. Crowd, I mean, there's been talk about how the crowd's not as up as it was under Klopp, which obviously they come big in big moments. But I think that's probably part of it, is just the way we play and the way it's also presented and how we play is much more pragmatic, much more kind of philosophical than Klopp's heavy metal football, which kind of just fed into emotion and energy and passion and fed into that stuff. I think that could be kind of the hangover. I'm not super worried because obviously we've lost one game and it really was down to a wonder goal from Nottingham Forest, like a very good, well taken, unsavable goal. And even if the Fulham game, even though we struggled, we were down 10 men most of that game and outplayed them for most of the game. So I mean, I'm not super worried about our home form. It's just like when you only have one loss on the entire season, I guess that's the one thing you have to focus on in terms of having quote unquote bad form. But
Yeah,
I think it's I guess a different level of very good is what we've been playing at home. It's just obviously we've had a couple of in the last month of a few not so great performances at home. So it's maybe a little bit more focused on right now. But I think part of it is just we're not quite as I don't want to say emotional. I feel like it's just kind of the wrong word, but I kind of feel that's what it is we're not as up for it at home as we used to be, or we're not as used to it as fans either without Klopp had everything going.
yeah, and I think my personal view is we're probably missing And we've probably already got the player here or a couple in Chiesa and Elliott that could break a lower block. I I know we've spoken about Soboslai, Reece and Brandon, where the intensity that he brings is a different thing. But when you have two banks of 5 and a 4, it's difficult to break down. And maybe someone with the vision of Elliot or Chiesa, or even we've been linked with Ryan Cherky, whether he could come in and break and find that absolutely killer pass. There's that, and also maybe a central striker. There's a reason why Jota's been was chosen at the start of the season ahead of Nunes, because Jota kind of is a bit more all-rounded compared to Nunes. But yeah, it's just one of those interesting things. But yeah, we are coming towards the end of the stream. Reese, let's get some score predictions from yourself. What would you be happy with for tomorrow's match?
Let's think. I think it's gonna be close. I think maybe I'm trying to think. 2-1 to Liverpool. I can see Tottenham scoring. I do just see them scoring. So yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1, and then I'm gonna go to score, Jota to score, and then who else? Gakpo to score for us.
Yeah.
Solanke to score for Tottenham.
Okay, 2-1. Just before I come to yourself, the weird thing is, so we're playing Spurs tomorrow, which is on the 8th of January. The actual second leg isn't for another month. It's the 6th of February when we play in the second leg, which is absolutely bizarre. You literally could have form go out the window. Spurs could actually decide that they want to play football over the next 3-4 weeks before they get another opportunity to play in the second leg, which is absolutely bizarre. I don't understand it. Normally, when you have two-legged competitions, they play really close to each other because you get a good barometer of the abilities of both teams. But it's just a mad one. But that was my little mini rant for tonight. Brandon, what would you be happy with tomorrow?
Well, I was going to kind of mention that exact fact before my score prediction. Like we kind of hopefully can get like a 3-1, maybe get like a 4-1, something like that, to pad a lead, because like you said, it's like another month before the next game in this competition, and by then could have a different manager at Spurs with the way things are going right now. Pressure's on Ange, and then also you could they're going to get a lot of players. They've had a lot of injuries right now. They're going to have probably a completely different looking squad for that second game, because they'll have, I think Van de Ven's supposed to be back fairly soon. I think Vicario's still out longer than that, but it's just, you look at their injuries, there's quite a few that's supposed to be back near the end of January as their expected return dates. So this is kind of the moment to really put a big score line up in the first leg, and that second leg becomes a little bit more manageable, and maybe you can even rotate more just because you've got a 3-goal cushion. I don't think anybody's going to come to Anfield and beat us 3-0, 4-0. I don't think anybody even on the road could do that with how good Slot is as a manager. It's just, I think this is the game to kind of really go for it and put it up. I'm hoping 3-1. That's what I'll predict. Spurs. Wow. Spurs are definitely good offensively. They're going to find a goal. They're going to be up for it. But I think defensively, we are still very good. We are still a very good defensive team. I think even with some changes, some rotation, those guys will know their job. I think they'll still find a goal in them. But I think going forward, I'm with Reese. I know Gakpo's going to score. I think Jota gets one. And I'll say Harvey gets one as a start. And then maybe that kicks off the rest of his season for us.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0 Liverpool. Happy with that. I think we're going to be a bit more solid. I think we'll go back to basics rather than kind of going all out and trying to get a crazy score. I believe Stig, away goals don't really count in this competition anymore now. So when it comes to the away goals rule, doesn't really make a difference. So 2-2, it's all to play for in the second leg. I think that's what they to get rid of was that very thing. So yeah, that's not going to be there. So yeah, I think that's it. We've covered off everything I wanted to do. We've even got a chance to speak about Elon Musk, which is bizarre to talk about um on the show. But yeah, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone that's joined today. Some really, really good comments. Brandon Reese, absolutely fantastic as always. We have got another show on tonight for the early birds, for the late night owls. As you mentioned there, Jamie Hughes, thank you. So 2 a.m. UK time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe it is. So yeah, just join us on that if you're around. I'm sure there'll be a lot more discussion about Elon Musk on that show as well. We'll have a post-match show tomorrow as well, so please join us for that. And if not, we will see you soon. I just want to say again, thank you to Reese, thank you to Brandon, and we will see you soon. Up the Reds. Good night.